rather. It's Taylor deep and Cypress close. Larry Sippa under center in a balanced line. Sippa rolls out to the right, pitches off to Taylor, and Taylor's to the 20, down to the 15, down to the 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Billy Taylor scored a touchdown from 21 yards out. The crowd goes berserk. Michigan leads 9-7. Old man Euchre's been broadcasting for 27 years. I have never seen anything like this.
That's right.
2 years ago in 1939, Ohio State.
And Bob Ufer, a dear friend, we miss him, and he told me that was his greatest call. There's been several in Michigan history. And hello, good evening to Facebook and anyone else tuned in. I'm Dr. Billy Taylor. The show is Get Back Up. And we talk about things that matter and not necessarily a sports show. I mean, I have a big sports background, and I'm a Michigan man forever and go blue and all of that, but we talk about a lot of things that matters. And it's a lot going on if you're paying any attention to the news. And then since I was on last week, we have a new person at the top of the Democratic ticket, and that's Kamala Harris. And she's generating a lot of new energy. A lot of young folks are supporting her. A lot of middle-aged people and older folks are supporting her. She's really energized this campaign. And I think she's going to do a good job. She's obviously come into her own during the years as VP under President Biden. She was involved in just about everything. And now, when she speaks, she's energetic. She's talking about the future and, real things that people are concerned with, the average American. You know, I always was saying I'm riding with Biden. I felt terrible about that debate. I mean, because things didn't go well for him. Had he stayed in the race, I'm being honest, I still would have voted for him because, we only have two choices. There's some third party stuff, but to me, that's like a wasted vote. It's going to be a Democrat or a Republican. And as Kamala Harris and her new VP pick, Tim Walz, they're talking about the future and things that affect, everyday Americans, whereas 45, I don't like to call his name, but he is stuck on the past and stuck on himself as I see it. And the main thing is not his politics, because I'm not, a super wealthy guy. And that's who he, seemingly that benefits him, that benefits as a result of having him in the Oval Office, and also his group of followers. I mean, it's America. Vote the way you want to vote, but I, I just don't understand it, and I can't understand the Christian based, the evangelicals that are supporting him, because he's done a lot of things that I can't judge anybody, but it's certainly not Christian. Things that used to would destroy you or put you in jail, and like it's now that's completely overlooked. 34 convictions. I mean, real convictions that in a court of law, and he never went to jail. Impeached twice, and he had enough people in the Congress and Senate to keep him from actually having to leave office. That was a political victory on his part, but you know, adjudicated for sexual defamation. And keep in mind, he was the president of the United States at that time. And how can so many people just overlook all of those things and allow him to run for the highest office really in the world, but definitely in America? I mean, there was a time, and I've been around a while, that type of behavior was not permissible. And I mentioned on a previous show about what happened with Gary Hart when he was caught with the young lady in a little skimpy babe suit on the back of a boat playing with her and blah, blah, him being married. And the pushback was so strong, he had to drop out of the race. But 45, he paid the porn stars, $100,000 plus, hush money. And he's married and, has a wife and family. And, it's just completely overlooked. The 34 convictions completely overlooked. You know, all of these things indicted twice. And that's really an arrest for most of us. You would be arrested, mugshot, fingerprint, and arrested. But for the rich and famous, I guess, different rules apply. And in America, we are all taught that the no one is above the law. Well, I really seriously question that because obviously he is, and I've had some ups and downs in my earlier years, and I certainly wasn't above the law. But most of all of these convictions, if for a regular person you're found guilty, you're going to go to jail. You're going to do some jail time. But he has not done any jail time. And then you think about the insurrection, calling all of these people to Washington, and it's gonna be live or something. He said crazy, to tell them to come on, and telling the people. Secret Service or whoever's guarding him in the White House to, even though people were armed, let him in. Crazy stuff. And uh, most people, for example, I don't think you could get a job at McDonald's if they run a background check and you got a criminal conviction. But he can run for the highest office in the land, and it's okay. He can take top secret material and leave them in bathrooms around his uh, Mar-a-Lago or wherever. Uh, no consequences, and stack the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be neutral and fair about everything, specifically for them to overturn Roe versus Wade, in which they did. And this is just, crazy stuff, man. Like, where is this country headed? You know, I don't understand it because most Americans, if you found guilty of almost any of these things, you're gonna go to jail. How long, I don't know, but you're gonna go to jail. And then the Supreme Court just passed a law or whatever, a ruling where uh, a president can pretty much do whatever he wants, including have people assassinated without, uh, with a total immunity. And this is crazy. And then most people probably heard about, I haven't read it, this Project 2025, and they say it's a playbook for another Trump administration. There, I said his name. I spanked my hands. But anyway, a playbook, want to get rid of social service and Medicare and things like that, and want to wipe out, erase the Constitution of the United States. He's got it all set up, a playbook to destroy our democracy and set up an autocracy where he's in charge. He's like a king. He can do what he want to do. It's just crazy. I just don't understand it. My main thing with him is I believe he's a bigot. I believe he's a racist based on things he's said and done, and there's a list of things. I'm not a bigot nor a racist, but that's my main thing against voting for a person like that. His policies are his policies, and he doesn't do a lot of talk about policies, but that's my main thing. And I probably shouldn't feel this way, but most whatever president, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, in office, their policies and things. I honestly, I just be honest, I don't know a whole lot about unless it's something really big that makes the news. But I say that because I feel as a man, a black man in America, I could just say a man. I'm so far away from whoever's making those decisions, whether it's something through Congress or Senate or the president. They're going to do what they're going to do. And I probably shouldn't look at it like that, but that's the way it seems to me. But I just want to have a decent person in the Oval Office and a person that I think, cares about regular folks. I'm a regular folk, and I've said on another show that I I think Biden, he's no longer top of the ticket. I know is a man with flaws, but Trump is a demon with claws. And I know the Trump followers, probably want to get on me about that, but that's just uh, pretty much sums up how I feel. I think I have someone
Hey, man,
online.
this Jerry. Look, I'm on the line,
Okay, we
but
have
I don't have I
Brother
don't have
Cox.
video.
Okay, you don't have video. That's okay, as long as we can hear you. Well, how you doing, Brother Cox? Welcome to Get Back Up.
I'm doing good, Dr. Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm having to go and rebrand myself as a Democrat because I was invited. I got an invitation to go to Kamala Harris thing in here in Detroit, but I guess after they did the background, I'm a registered independent. So I guess that'll knock me out. But by the time they come and do some more stuff, I'll be back on the Democratic side officially.
Okay.
And
So you
I'll be able to
switching
make some of
back
these
and forth.
things.
So are you
So I was looking.
downtown now? Kamala Harris
No,
is
no,
what?
it's not for me so much to switch back and forth. What seems to be controversial for me, the black man ain't free until he can be wherever he wants to be. White men are not subjugated to whether they Republican, Democrat, or independent, because it is a facade anyway. Because when we talk about the left and the right, it's the same bird.
Yeah.
So the people that about the left is doing this, the right doing this, it's the same bird. And really, when you talk about it, the bird got three tails. They got the two big wings, and then they got
I
the
think
small
it's a
tail
little
in the
bit
back.
of a difference,
So,
but go ahead. I think it's a little different between the right and the left, but go ahead. Say.
There's a difference, but I'm just saying it's the same body. It's not like it's a whole different. America is split, as you stated before. America is split between two major parties, which means a lot of times is winner takes all, and it's no longer. It doesn't seem sometimes that it's no longer about the entire nation, but just those that voted. When you're a family, it's like you're concerned about everybody. But you being an athlete and other people that are competitive folk, heck, if you're not on my team, I don't care what you do. So you no longer for me. It's no longer about a humanitarian cause. It's about whether you look like me, dress like me, believe in my philosophies. So for me, that is not real freedom. That's just a controlling mechanism. If you don't walk the way I walk, talk the way I talk, then I'm not going to give you a piece of bread. I'm not going to give you a job. I'm not going to give you a scholarship, because you don't kowtow to my line of thinking. Thus, free thinking is out the window because I need to think like you think.
Well, I want to say, I think I have it up on the screen. People can see, but if they can't, the call-in number for comments or questions is 234-404-3887. If you have a comment or a question. And once again, the podcast is relatively new, and I'm Dr. Taylor, and I have various guests and hosts on with me, but we talk about things that matter, and there's a whole lot of things going on that matter. And we're living in what I call perilous times. So we can agree to disagree. I had a long talk with a good friend of mine who happens to be a white gentleman. We've known each other for years, and we're on totally opposite ends politically, the poll. And but then we talked for about an hour, and we covered so much, and I learned a lot too during that discussion. So uh, you don't have to agree with me or the podcast, but um, we must. One rule is we must agree to disagree, and not be disrespectful to one another. I think that's the only way to be. But I have a list of things. I'll be following the news quite a bit, and there's a lot of topics, a lot of things that are going on that are really just crazy. Why I say perilous times. Ukraine just fired a missile or something into Russia, and I don't know how many people were killed or injured, but that whole war has been going on what a couple of years now or something like that, and over 100,000 people killed. It's a total like on both sides, but that's a crazy thing. It's part of the perilous time. Just like people don't care, it seems too many people don't care about other humans. Because I know initially when Russia launched that attack, they were bombing churches and schools and killing a lot of women and children. They had a lady that was about to give birth, and she was hit by shrapnel or something. And before she died, I think they were able to deliver the baby. It was just hard to watch. And the same thing with Israel and what's happening with the Palestinians in Gaza. You know, it's like nobody cares about the human life. And I'm trying to, what's the term? I got it in my phone that one of our former generals was being interviewed, and he was talking and he used this term. I'm trying to find it right now. That's really scary. A lot of people talk about, the end times and the last days, and I don't use that terminology, but I do say we're living in perilous times. So he said in conversation about escalation dominance. And I would say escalation dominance. I mean, think about that for a minute. What does that really mean? And also during that conversation, they talked about, Hamas and Hezbollah firing into Israel and killing people, and then Israel retaliate and fire into Gaza and kill people. And this sort of back and forth killing and bombing has been going on, seemed like forever. Of course, when has Hamas attacked Israel, 6 or 7 months ago, and this started a whole nother, you know, battle and sequence of events. But one thing in this conversation that stood out to me was this been going on for, I don't know, years and years, tit for tat. And that's when he used the term, it's not going to be over until, what did I say, escalation dominance. So that's like a major campaign. And that's like, I know Netanyahu, whatever, y'all know who I'm talking about. He said several months ago, um, if Lebanon got into the battle and started, sending missiles and whatnot into Israel, he said he would bomb them so hard it would take them back to the Middle Ages. I mean, listen at that kind of language. That's the time. These are the times that we're living in, and you're talking about human lives here. It's just really, really scary. Did you have something to say, Brother
But that,
Cox? Yes.
yeah, one, you got a Paul Partridge who says, I would comment, BT, but I have lost communication with friends and family because of politics. and there are a lot of people don't want to talk politics because of that very reason. But I'm thinking while you're talking about the people over in Gaza, but a lot of noise is not being made behind Sonia Massey.
Behind
This
what?
woman, mother called the police and said, "Look, don't kill my daughter. She's da 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 da." And the officer who come to find out, this white guy who's been part of a lot of police departments that's been dismissed for various reasons, he comes into the woman's house and tells the woman, "I'm gonna blow your freaking head off." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you got this gun. So on one corner, I'm like, I ain't trying to reach all the way overseas when they're killing black women in their homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This
is all related. It's all related.
Well,
because those are black
if we're
and
talking
brown.
about white male dominance, it's all related.
Well, escalation is what I said. Dominance. Those, So he was just talking about wiping out a whole country, community of people. But yeah, the playing field is not level when it comes to black and brown folks in America and really around the world. I think it was a Swedish.
That's an amen to that.
Yeah, it was a Swedish politician. She said, "Equal rights has a skin color." Now, y'all think about that, and the reality
get that
is,
post up. Yeah,
the reality is it's true. It's true, and all people are not racist and bigoted, whether you're black, white, or Asian, or Hispanic, or whatever. Anytime you use that term "all," I learned that in elementary, middle school, is usually not correct or not 100% correct. I have a lot of friends in
it's an exaggeration.
Any culture, race, religion you want to mention, and most in my own family bloodline. So I'm not a bigot or a racist, but I do know that the playing field has not been level for black and brown people in America and around the world. That's just a fact, But now it's like this inequality is on steroids, and that's why I say we're living in perilous times. Some people say end times and all of that, last days and all of that. But you could stop it and you could think, and you could probably make an argument about that, rather successful one. But in my lifetime, I've seen how, and I think it's in scripture. I'm a teacher, not a preacher, but how what was once considered good is now bad, and what was once considered bad or wrong is now good. Bishop, isn't that true? That's somewhere in the scriptures, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe we lost Bishop.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
I was. No, I'm not lost.
If you're gonna stay with me, stay with me now. But I'm just saying that.
Oh no, I'm with you.
Okay.
Hey, keep it 100. So what happens is that I was in a meeting last night, and the lady was talking about her religion. She said one thing she noticed. She talked about her Jewish heritage. She said she doesn't talk about it often, but she did in that particular setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of what type of Jew she is, but however, she says one thing that she noticed different between Jews and Christians is that her religion allows her to have critical thinking. And if she reads something that does not necessarily line up in her life and she doesn't need it, she throws it out. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Christian church, and more so the Catholic thing, is you're brought into this dogma, and you have this dogma that you live in for the rest of your life. So the end times is more so a Christian faith more so than the universal faith. Everybody don't believe that that there's going to be this end time thing, but just that man is doing his own destruction with the atomic wars, with global warming, how they've gone over to Brazil and kill the rainforest, how they regularly are destroying good farming to be able to raise cows, like one more cow and some processed on the market. So I do believe part of the when it says that the money is the root of all evil. And
Wow.
there's, not just some money, but there are people. The people would do some
You,
hardcore things for
you
money,
know,
even
Bishop,
when they got money.
regarding right in line with what you're saying uh, about the cows and whatever, a friend of mine that I grew up with in Barberton, Ohio, he sends me information at times, and some of it is really deep. And this one that I received from him earlier today, it was about meat glue. How many people listening are aware of meat glue? I I was not, until I got this text from him. But it says, and I have to read it from my phone. Meat glue is an adhesive used in food production to glue small pieces of meat together to form larger pieces of meat. And they showed these chips and stuff of like steak, red meat. I stopped eating red meat 4 years ago, but it says it's a glue that they put together to make these pieces stick together. And furthermore, it says meat glue, also known as transglutaminize. I'm pronouncing it as best I can as the scientific term, but it's a food additive used to improve the texture and appearance of processed meats. Now, I never knew this. All of those beautiful steaks that y'all be looking at in the store. And I tell you, until I stopped eating red meat, there's nobody on this planet that loved a bone-in ribeye, with a little fat running through it, uh, or porterhouse, than me. And ribs and bacon and sausage and burgers. I loved all of that, but I've learned to live without it, and I stopped regular homogenized milk because it comes from the cows, and they got all kind of stuff in the grains and things. And then there's I watch. I'm not diabetic, but I watch the sugar that I intake as well. I use rice milk or almond milk or oat milk, and I don't eat eggs. I don't eat baby chickens anymore, but that still leaves a lot to eat. But now this whole thing about meat glue is
But that,
crazy. They showed it was like
but
a powder.
why is it on the market?
Why is
Why is it on the market?
we live in perilous times, and some people just don't care.
Right.
You know,
That love of money.
love of money,
America
money,
is
money,
poisoning
money,
its people. Right.
money.
Because they have to keep us sick. They have to keep us sick. The fuel the hospitals, the fuel the pharmaceuticals. So, and that's one of my things is like when we fail to tell truth about what really is happening. And I'm, one of my things is the privatized prisons. How can you have privatized prisons unless you have people who are really investing in crime? So no real investor is going to
That's
invest in
big
something unless they
business,
know that there's a market for it.
That's big business, man.
Right. So crime. But what I'm saying is that you have to have legislatures to write laws that will incarcerate a wider group of people and sentence them for longer sentences to make sure that the prison population stays full. So, and this is all behind the mighty dollar. So they don't care about
crime.
That's a slow genocide in the black and brown community, because when you take the males out of the community, where do you get a new generation of black children when you have a large population behind bars, and then we got another population that say they don't like women. Then you got another population who just have chosen because of their choice not to have kids. So the black population is reducing and shrinking at enormous rates. Matter of fact, at one time, blacks
a lot of people say that's by design.
And this was during slavery.
They say that's by design.
Well, it's by design. Ain't no some people. ain't no some people. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, stay with me. If you're gonna stay with me, stay with me. You know what I mean? But we have to call truth.
Let me say this.
When we have people,
let me say this. Like Barack Obama's inauguration and becoming first black president. Actually, he wasn't the first black. There was about 4 or 5: Lincoln, Eisenhower, Warren, Harding. There's
Based
a
on
list of
the white man's laws, but
yeah, yeah,
they weren't black.
that
They
have
had
black.
dots of black.
Yeah, exactly. But he brought about the rise of the mega folks. You know, people were cool as long as, you know, white Caucasian was running everything and were president and congressmen and senators and had plantations and stuff like that. But, you know, a certain group of haters, I just call it what it is, they look and they say, we got a black man in the Oval Office as president of the United States. And one guy I talked to, he said, my God, we got to change this. You know, I was like, with that real deep Southern accent. And, but then, you know, information has come out that I call it the browning of America. And that has upset a whole lot of people. But people that were
Now, a lot of
silent
people don't.
were silent on race and discrimination and bigotry. They come out of cracks and crevices once you got that black person in there, and then certain white leaders were saying, you know, we're being taken over. But it's about the browning of America, and people became very vocal about that. And then one of the groups that do census was saying in 10 or 15 years, America is going to be, you know, black, brown, and others, the majority of Americans, you know. But, you know, we're all people, but it's just crazy, man. But, you know, so
But
many
now, Doc,
changes. Go ahead.
well, let me say this right here. A lot of people don't realize that Barack sent the black man and the black race back 7 degrees, and he increased the white race 7
Well,
degrees.
I don't think he did. He
when
did something purposely to do that, but the fact that may be true, but the fact that he was black could bring about all of that because, you know,
yeah, that's propaganda.
It scared white folks.
Okay, now watch this, Doc. All right, here this right here. The LGBT, all them letter people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The white man is the only person in America that holds 2 positions. If you are white male
Mm-hmm.
and you decide that you are gay,
Mm-hmm.
now you have white privilege. You are the majority,
Mm-hmm.
and now you get a special tab because of your sexual identity.
Mm-hmm.
So the white man, the white man that's gay, he gets a minority click over the black. The white woman who's gay gets a click. The transgender gets a click, and that's times because you got trans on both sides. The queer is on both sides. So all of these people are in front of the black man. Look from newscasters.
Between gay and queer, I hear that lesbian, gay, queers. what is that? I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm heterosexual. I'm glad of that, but I respect everybody. But you know, what is queer?
Yeah,
I thought queer and gay were the same thing.
Think about it. No. See, a lot of people don't realize all of these groups are cut up into their own factions. So they ride a certain bandwagon, but when you really look at who they are, that's like you can like with lesbian, right? All lesbians are not in the same motive. Okay, one dictionary says queer is denotating or relating to a sexual or gender identity that does not correspond to the established ideals of sexuality and gender, especially heterosexual norms.
Well, you reading
the queer
that
person,
from something?
Kind of like Prince said, he like sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, yeah. People can Google it. You can Google it. You know, anybody can Google queer and get definitions.
I never really thought
dictionary they want to go to.
I really never thought to do that, you know. But it's just my being naive, I guess, you know. But during my time growing up, if a person said they were, if you said somebody were queer, you're really saying they're gay. And I didn't, but
Right.
apparently
No,
that's
because the
different.
quick. Then today, yeah, because you was a kid a long time ago. So now, with this, yeah. So we have to catch up a little bit because, like I say, you have like the transgender. Okay, how does that work? So you got the guys who want to be girls and the girls that want guys.
I'm with
Boom,
that.
like I
That's
said,
pretty basic, pretty simple to understand. But that
right.
terminology, queer and gay.
So the queer. The queer is the one that ain't made up their mind and they do everybody.
Wow.
So they ain't loyal to no side, no nothing.
You better be glad
some
a lot of folks listening don't know where
queer.
you are if you get after you, man.
Oh no, look, they're not concerned about that because like I said, if you watch the news, you watch Hollywood. When blacks were free, we were freed by law, but we were not freed by the system.
That's true.
So the white man still could incarcerate,
still
could call you Negro,
say that's
and all these other things. Right. So now, but with the gay community, now the gays have their own network. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood insists that almost every show has an indoctrination, but there's no indoctrination to treat the Negro right.
Yeah.
So, and all of these, and one of the things that bothers me, even when I watch sports, and now this is what I will take a hit on. When I watch sports and I see the majority of white women who are sportcasters, and I think about all these brothers who were in line to be on the same network, and they're replaced by a lily white female. And I got nothing against it per se, other than at one time the sportcasters were predominantly men. So now let me get out of trouble with the women.
White men.
If they were going to put a woman on, right? If they were going to put a woman on as a broadcaster, why not a black woman? Because more than likely, that one of her relatives is playing that particular sport.
I think it's one or two black women. You got to
put a white woman on there.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So, but I'm talking about on the major. If you count broadcasters, that are of the female persuasion, and female sexuality, and you look at their color, the number of blacks is very low to the number of whites.
So, are you surprised by that?
Thing of
does that surprise
you? No, I'm
just
saying we don't call it out. No, it doesn't. It doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is the number of Negroes in the NFL that are too scared to say anything about. They want to now put a cap on the quarterback. When the quarterback was predominantly white, there was no such thing as putting a salary cap on the quarterback. He was a franchise player, and that was how they kept the Negro with less money, because they gave all the money to the quarterback and his offensive line, and then whatever was left, they give it to the running back, and to all these other people. Now that the NFL predominantly in the last 5 or 10 years, there has been a predominant swing of black quarterbacks coming through the college ranks on up. But now, since the black man now is a predominant quarterback, they want to say, okay, well, we need the salary cap. How about salary capping the owners take? If you so the only sports that they deal with salary caps in are sports that are predominantly with African Americans as athletes. There's no salary cap on a swimmer.
Are there salary caps on the NBA, on the basketball players, or that's something that's coming? Are you still there?
I'm not sure on that. The news. Yeah, I'm still here. Now the news came out because I saw your clip about Kaepernick. I didn't do any research to see whether Kaepernick was really on the team or whether that was fake news or what.
Yeah.
But I do know Jerry Jones was pushing with the NFL for a salary cap.
I think I got a hold to some fake news, but he did play for Harbaugh years ago. And back that team, the 49ers, they went to the Super Bowl. And he was a good quarterback. And I've had some pushback online about it. And they were saying he was just no good, or he was just average, or whatever. But he had a great career going, but he stood up about the national anthem, and he, protested.
And that's a lie, Doc. He did. But they changed the narrative on that. Because if you watch the real story, the brother just did not come to the field during the national anthem. It was a white reporter who noticed that Kaepernick was not coming out on the field. And then they asked him a question, and he said, "I'm not standing for the anthem when it doesn't live up to what it says, because everybody is not free." Then they spent that and said that Trump spent it and said that he was against the military. Then you had, I don't know whether it was a Navy SEAL or Special Forces and the Army guy called him and said, "Look, man," he says, "kneeling," he says, I'll kneel with you because kneeling is a sign of honor." And in the football league,
there were some white players. White players kneeled along with him.
Yeah, but answer this. But Dr. Taylor, answer me this: on the football field, if you have the football and you take a knee, what does that mean?
Stop! It's over. I'm down. Play is ended.
It's over. That is a surrender by the player. He has surrendered the play. So he is the quarterback who takes a knee. He surrendered. And what did they do? The same thing that he was protesting against. They shot his career. They killed his career because he surrendered. Well, it wasn't about the national anthem. It was about the propaganda of the anthem.
The national anthem.
Everybody got their own belief. The brother never came out, show any documentations where he made a statement that he was protesting against the national anthem.
Well, I mean, it was
a nosy reporter
who saw a brother
who in his own silence,
because everybody during the national anthem,
own silence,
folks were standing.
But ain't nobody talking about how Jerry Jones. Ain't nobody talking about how Jerry Jones backed the president when the president of the United States, the one who you don't like to call his name, said called the players of the NFL sons of da 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 da. And the commissioner of the NFL never said that we don't see any of our players like that. There's nobody in our contract named that, and they did not call the president. And then here comes Jerry Jones that got his boys lined up, arm tight, and saying, "I got my niggas in line."
Well, you're not gonna get no argument out of me about the playing field not being level. I know that. I talk about that all the time.
But we have to be strong enough.
Do I have somebody else online? I guess not. Okay. There were some other things in other things in the news that I wanted to talk about. Vice President Kamala, her choice of running mate, Tim Walz, and a regular normal guy out of Nebraska, and he wound up being the governor of what's the state? Minnesota, I think.
Minnesota. Yeah.
A lot of people were surprised. I was a little bit too, because I never heard of him about him being her choice. I thought it would come down to Shapiro at Pennsylvania, and then I thought more about it. I said, "Now, but he's Jewish, but the guy's polished, and he's in one of those, what do they call them, swing states or whatever, the state that whoever wins the presidency probably."
You talking about Shapiro?
Yeah, but I say the fact that now she's married to a Jewish guy. If she picks a Jewish running mate, some people are going to push back on that for whatever reason. So I say he's definitely qualified, but they won't have him. And then I listened to Beshear. I think he was the governor of Kentucky, and I really liked him. I thought, I think I even posted on Facebook, I thought he was going to be her choice. And but she wound up picking this guy, Tim Walz, and a lot of folks are not even aware of him. But he has, quite a resume. But I've been listening to him yesterday and today, and I think she made a really good choice, a good balance to her ticket, and I'm hoping and praying that she wins. Since Biden is not there, she's there now, because there's a clear choice. You can say good and evil, or you can just say it's. I can't see how a person with as much baggage that 45 has, and all the things that he has done and been involved in that's illegal, and all the federal convictions and the rape charge, and they say sexual defamation, but I read some more information on that, and supposedly he actually raped this woman in a dressing room, but they kind of
Supposedly.
they kind of dressed it up and said sexual defamation instead of rape because he was a former president, and then he's married, like I say, Gary Hart, because he was having a fling with a little chickadee. He had to drop out of the race, but 45, married with child, and he's paying, having sex with the porn stars and then paying them off to be quiet. That's okay. And he got 34 federal convictions. That's okay. And he has a large Christian group of Christians that are following him. I mean,
hey Doc, hold on a minute. Doc Taylor.
What?
You got a Paulette Riley Jackson who says that his personality matches hers. Okay. I don't know.
But I got a monitor in front of me. I was going to get to her. But
okay. I won't do that no more.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes you say you can't see the monitor, but I got you.
No, it's there. Okay. It's big and pretty live. But I'm just saying, I talked about him at the beginning of the show, and this is just a stark picture of how things have changed in America, how we're living in perilous times where all this behavior is acceptable. Like I said, most folks, if you got that federal conviction, and I know some about that personally, you can't get the job at McDonald's or at Walmart or something like that. But he has all of these these are convictions. These are not charges. He's been convicted 34 times and a lot of other stuff. Yet he can qualify to run for the highest office in the land. And yet he has Christian evangelicals, a majority of them, from what I'm hearing, support him. I mean, what is really happening? And then the perilous times right now, they're anticipating an all-out war in the Middle East. All of these things are happening. Some people call it end times and all of that. I don't go to that extent, but maybe so. I don't know, but that's a good example of what I said that's in the Bible. I'm a teacher, not a preacher, but there's somewhere in there it says when things that were once considered good or right is considered wrong, and things that were considered wrong are now considered right, and it's just crazy. But anyway, let me go. I got a couple people. Paulette Riley Jackson. You said his personality matches whose? Paulette, are you there? Hello? Paulette Riley. Where I guess we lost her. If she comes back, we'll go to her. How about Jackie? Jackie says, I really hope we see a lot more of Andy Beshear in the future. I agree. Did you want to make some comments or just wanted me to quote you there? Okay, but I agree. Well, that was my choice, was Beshear, but what do I know? I heard him speak. The guy was deep and personable, and I thought he would be a good match for Kamala. Do we have Paulette on?
Just Facebook comments.
Okay, just comments. She says she's talking about the VP and her choice of running mate. I agree. She apparently, Vice President Harris felt that they could work together and he would be a good match for her and a male. I knew that her being a Black or biracial woman, a woman of color, I'll say, at the top of the ticket, that she had to have a white male as her running mate. And I'm just saying that because that's the way it is, for her to have a chance of running. And I liked um, our governor, Big Gretch, not because she's big, because she's big time. She's a special lady. Uh, that would have been a good mate, but America's not ready for two women, a president and a vice president, female. No, not even if it was two white women, America wouldn't be ready for that. But so next, um, who else was Buttigieg? Buttigieg, yeah. Well, he's gay and he's Secretary of Transportation, I think. But this guy is sharp. He's a veteran, I think, of special forces, but he's gay. He's married to a man and they got a kid or two, and that's fine. That's him, But uh, the guy is just very bright. Anything that you want to talk about, regarding the government and the community and the laws, he's got a response that anybody can relate to. Very sharp. But I think I know, America is not ready for that, for an openly gay person to be president or vice president. But her choice of Tim Walz, it surprised me. But the more, because I never really knew of him until yesterday. But he's got an impressive resume, and I think she made a very wise choice, because this guy, they say the vice president is kind of like your attack dog, so to speak, And I was listening at him today, and he was tearing 45 a new rear end, and speaking in language.
That's your elder right there.
Excuse me. He was speaking in a language that most people can relate to. Maybe perhaps we could take a short break. Oh, we have Paulette is back online. Paulette, are you there? Hello? Hello? We can't hear you if you are there. We have a bad connection, or what's going on? Turn to my crew here. Paulette Riley, hello? Can you hear me?
Nope.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
Okay.
Okay, thanks for calling in.
Well, you were asking why I said what I said. I believe that's what the question was.
Right.
I basically was just saying that I thought that he matched her personality as far as they're both seem like they are. How she's always happy and smiling, and he came on the same way. Together, I think that they, will be able to be good when it comes down to them debating. If they get to debate anytime with Trump, if he'll take the debate.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think if he winds up debating Vance or whatever Trump's roommate running mate is, the guy that, what do you call women with cats, cat mamas or cat babies or something? But he'll be a great match for him. And Kamala, I know 45 does not want to debate that woman. She is smart, she's sharp, she's on top of everything. And as she said in one of her presentations, I know his type. And she mentioned all the different type of cases she's prosecuted, and he's guilty in every phase, but when he talks, somebody needs to give him a cognitive test, because they were talking about Biden and he rambles, and talks about all kind of weird, crazy things. But yeah, I agree with you, Paul, that she made a wonderful choice with this guy, a high school teacher, a coach, an army veteran, a senator, and a real person from a small town, like John Cougar Millenkamp. He uses his last name. Say he learned to fear Jesus in a small town, You know, and I can relate to that. But, but wow, yeah. Any other comments you want to make, Paulette, while I got you here?
Well, basically, it's just that I'm behind her. I mean, she was on my mind all the time, but I knew that until it actually got down to getting President Biden to step aside, that there wasn't going to be a lot of people who wanted a woman, especially a woman of color. But it came to the point where they didn't have much of a choice, and then everybody seemed to be starting to step on the bandwagon. But I knew that she was capable all the time because of her background.
Well,
And so we just have to get out and vote. That's all.
yeah, some people were saying they should have an open primary, an open something, some process. I don't know what they call it, to select who's going to be at the top of the ticket instead of Biden. But I'm saying no, because the pecking order, you got the president, the vice president, and then the Speaker of the House. If the president
Right.
becomes unavailable, then the vice president stepped in, and she was the vice president. So I think that was the right move to make. And had she not been, put in that position, I would say, here we go again. You got a black person getting the short end of the stick. But she stepped in, she stepped up, and she's speaking out, and she's created a lot of energy. I was really saddened by the meltdown, or whatever you want to call it, that President Biden had during that debate, and he tried to come back behind it, but it what they say, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. you know that was just a horrible thing to happen, and it took a couple weeks for him to
Yeah, I know.
realize that it was his own doing that you know caused him to have to step
Right.
down. But everything happens for a reason and a purpose. But I want to thank you for your call. I got a couple other people. Is there anything you wanted to say before we move on?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your call. We really appreciate it. And I encourage people to call in with your comments and questions. I welcome them. That helps keeps the show interesting. That call in number, whether you get a chance to call in today or for the next show, I'm on every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. And usually we go a little over time. But that call in number is 234-404-3887. Once again, the call in number to be on the show for comment or questions is 234-404-3887. I don't know if we can get that on the monitor or not. But anyway, thank you, Paulette. We have Dr. Wilson, Carla, online. Carla, are you there?
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for
Yes,
your
I
call.
am. How are you, Dr. Taylor?
Thanks for your call. Can you turn me down a
Well,
little bit? How are you? We're making
I'm
sense.
doing good. I just had a comment. I am a Washtenaw County resident, and with our elections last night, for the first time, we have a female sheriff.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
thinking I'm thinking that our current political situations kind of influence what happened here in Washtenaw County, that, women are starting to rise up. And I am just praying that
Amen.
women come together, in our country here, and help influence this change.
So she's a
So
Wayne.
I
She's
think
a
it's
Wayne
going to
County.
happen.
She's a Wayne County sheriff now.
Washtenaw County, we're going to have
Washtenaw
our
County.
first female. Yes.
And what's her name?
And nobody saw this coming.
What's her name?
Her name is Alicia Dyer. Alicia Dyer.
Dyer.
Alicia. Yes,
for
Dyer.
Well, I want to take a minute and congratulate Elisa Dyer. That's quite an accomplishment. And, women are stepping up, on
Yep.
every level, everywhere, right?
Yes, they are.
That's a
Right. And especially when we're saying our democracy is, being threatened.
hmm
And as women, we do have to come together.
We're behind the curve, so to speak. I think Italy, France, England have had women leaders, and in America, we have not, and I like to see it, y'all women, y'all females, y'all give life, provide life, make life, we contribute a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm
We've
okay.
been underestimated. Yeah, we've been underestimated for far too long.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's just been poked the bear for for the last time. And I think he's about to find out with this election.
Well, I hope and pray. I wish the new sheriff, good luck, and particularly Kamala Harris. I think she'll do a great job, and I think she'll be a president for everybody. And I think we're going to see a stark difference in how a lady president runs the country as opposed to how all of these men in the past. I'm ready for that change.
I definitely am. And, I was just looking back at the people around him, like his strategist, his personal attorney, all these people, in his immediate circle have all, they're all felons now because of his doing.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's something to take in consideration.
You're talking about 45. He's a felon.
I'm talking about 45 and the company he keeps.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and he lies so much. This project 2025. His people wrote it. His vice president did the forward for it. Then when it first was hitting the news a few weeks ago, 45 said he don't know anything about Project 2025. He's lying through his teeth. And a lot of folks in his administration were part, are the architects of it, and they're writing it for him, expecting him to regain, the White House. And I'm sure him and his campaign crew were expecting to be running against President Biden. And this change in the game threw their whole strategy off, and they got someone younger and energetic and sharper and knowledgeable and with the type of background that can tear him a new rear end. I can't say what I really want to say, but y'all know what I'm saying,
Right.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. He was trying to back out of the debate, and because of the backlash behind that, now I hear he's talking about he might debate her or whatever. I mean, that's going to be a sight to behold if it actually happens.
Oh, it will. Right.
Telling you.
Well, I'll definitely be watching.
Okay. Well,
all right. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, and thank you for your call. I don't know if Bishop Roberts is out there. I'd like to hear from him. That's my buddy, my brother, But once again, anyone with a comment or a question for me, for the show, please call in. The number is on the screen. If you're watching, we're live on Facebook, 234-404-3887. It's on the monitor. So if you have a question or comment, we had Paul was on, a friend of mine on Facebook. Is he connected? Is he still with us? I don't see it. There was something else in the news. Let me see if I can pull it up. Y'all give me a minute here that I wanted to talk about. Where are we? Brother Cox, are you still there?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. What's going on with you while I'm trying to find something else that was in the news? Yeah, in the Washington Post, they talk about J.D. Vance in text messages with far right figures, profane and off the cuff type languages. I think there's one conversation, I'll read it from my iPhone. He was talking with the Speaker of the House, what's his name, Johnson? And he was saying, Johnson suggested that the senator should work to restrict foreign ownership of U.S. housing. Vance responded with a thumbs up emoji. What else? There are people, and I can't find it right now, and I apologize about that, on the far right that Vance is communicating with regularly. And it's some pretty scary stuff, but this is who 45 selected to run with him, but I think the term that's being used to describe 45 and Vance is weird. It's just really weird, man. It's beyond comprehension as far as I'm concerned how these individuals could be running for the top office in the land, and particularly 45. I mean, what do we say about people that support him? I just don't understand it. It's like nothing matters anymore. Right and wrong doesn't matter. Criminal convictions, doesn't matter. Calling people thousands to the White House is going to be wild, and we had law enforcement people that were killed that day, and later somebody else committed suicide. He didn't go to jail for it.
Was it suicide for real?
Well, I don't know, but that's what the news said. Somebody, as a result of that whole incident, committed, suicide.
Yeah, the chief of Capitol Police supposedly committed suicide, supposedly. And we haven't heard anything else about that.
He's dead, though. I mean, whether he killed himself or somebody else killed him, but it's all connected to January 6th. It's just crazy, like if you or I, especially being Black, jumped the fence around the Capitol or whatever and running across the lawn towards we would be shot down or definitely locked up. We'll still be locked up, but yet thousands of people can hang nooses and want to hang Pence and using the bathroom on Nancy Pelosi's and other people's desks and destroying computers and documents and breaking out windows and, actually killing folks. So I know there are a lot of people in jail as a result of it, but the culprit, as my mom said, a ringtail leader, he had no consequences, and he does whatever he wants to do. And there's no consequences. So this whole thing, no one is above the law, that's really not true. If you got enough money and the right folks behind you, yeah, you're above the law. It's just crazy.
That goes back to the golden rule.
Goes back to what?
The golden rule.
Okay.
The golden rule. He who has the goal make the rules.
I never heard it that way. He who has the goal make the rules. Okay. I like that. Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the golden rule, baby. He who has the goal makes the rules. That's nothing new. But I will comment on Dr. Bragg Wilson, and as you complimented about Miss Alicia Dreyer being the first chair. When you watch world history, you'll find that the best leaderships that have ever happened in humankind is when there has been duality between the male and the female, when you have the yin and the yang. Families are better off when there's balanced power between the mom and the father. And yeah, a lot of people on both sides, they're great fathers who raise their kids by themselves, and they're great mothers who raise their children by themselves. But anybody who has a happy environment with dual parents, and I'm talking about the traditional mother and father, they'll talk about how life was a little bit more balanced
in the
so
home.
in the country, it's the same way. So I think,
a lot of
so
things.
I think the Biden Harris platform has been that duality of male and female, and if enough people get out, because I watched, I think it was Sunday night, there was a call of women of faith for Kamala Harris, even though it was not an endorsement thing, but just supporting her. And I've been watching, let me see, Cuomo, and on his show they've been talking about the number of women that have called for this surges of people, more so women, to come behind and support Kamala Harris. So I think with what Dr. Wilson said, with this similarity of style and the vigor, and also having a great track record, Walz could be a good ticket, but it doesn't seem that he's over threatening and somebody who's not going to pull a fast card and try to have her killed during her term. So I like that. But my choice, I didn't
your mind is amazing. Some of the things you say, you go way out there.
Man, look. You got to watch who get close to you because they're trying to push you off the cliff. Some people are really your right hand, and then there are some people who want your position. But I really like the chancellor, Mr. McRaven, the Navy SEAL, because I've been following a lot of the news feeds on who they were thinking would be a good one. And like many people, politically, Shapiro looked like he would have been a great candidate, but I think it would have been too much of a side-by-side polarism. I think this guy, Walz, like you say, a lot of people haven't heard of him in the major ticket, so that's not a person that's going to overpower her campaign. And I think that's going to be a great choice.
There's a lot of research that was going on and vetting who would be her running mate, and they go back years and years, maybe to when a person was in diapers, and find out, is there any scandals out there, anything crazy or ridiculous that'll come out, because the other side going to use it. So I think one of the things that must have supported him was he had fewer controversial things in his record and his history than some of the other people. And I don't think they picked Shapiro because he's Jewish and her husband is Jewish, and all the stuff going on with Gaza and Israel. The other side would have found some reason to push back on that, and so then I said, it's going to be Bashir of Kentucky, but they come up with this guy. I said, who is this guy? But I'm learning and finding out more about him, and it's a solid choice. I'm just going to be on about this after 9 for probably 5 or 10 more minutes, but I wanted to touch back on this whole thing with meat glue. Just the sound of that is that's kind of scary.
Well, what you think hot dogs got? The Vienna sausage, the hot dogs, the your deli ham, your deli turkey. It's called processed meat.
Yeah.
If it's processed, it's got to have glue, and that's what I was saying about earlier when I was talking about
I never thought about glue.
Well, it's got to stick some kind of way. And they put the glue. Okay, think about it. Why do we have the Food and Drug Administration? Think about those words: Food and Drug Administration.
The food stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, they monitor how much poison that the industries put in our food, and how slow it's gonna kill us. Isn't it amazing? You can go to the doctor, and the doctor can almost tell you what's wrong with you when you tell them their diet, because they already know the chemicals that have been put in the food. And for people who want to get healthy, It's no secret.
Mhm.
When you go to plant-based eating, and as you stated, you get away from the red meat. So the system is rigged to keep the system going. And you talked about the Bible earlier. He said, be not conformed to this world. So whatever they showing you on TV, you need to run, Forrest, run. Because they're showing it to you on the TV and our government has signed off on it. Our government signs off on nothing that's good for the people. It signs off on good was for the investor, because they don't teach us and we don't talk about as much that this country is a country of investors.
I've
And
heard of a
investors
lot
don't
of
care who get hurt.
I've heard of a lot of different things, Brother Cox, but I had never heard of that term meat glue until I got this text message today. But I just wanted to read a little bit more about it. It's called transglutaminase, meat glue. What is it, and is it safe? And just a short paragraph here. Meat glue is a food additive added to improve the texture and appearance of processed meats. Transglutaminase is safe, but it's linked to it's contradictory statement here. It's talking about it's safe, but it's linked to higher increased risk of bacterial contamination and may also worsen celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. How can that's contradictory? Isn't it? How can you say it's safe but it's connected to?
I'm gonna ask you like you asked me earlier. Are you surprised about that?
Well, I was.
Are you really surprised?
I wasn't shocked. I was a little surprised. That's what I used to say: run and get back up, dealing with drug addicts and alcoholics for 20 years, and then I'm a recovering 27-year person myself. I would say I'm rarely surprised and never shocked. And so, but this was one of the kind of rare surprises. I never thought in terms of gluing meat together. When you for example, I used to buy the steaks, and a T-bone or ribeye was my specialty, and I looked for one with that little line of fat down through it that add to the flavor. And you talking about good. But I'm thinking they just make these slices off the cow, and that's just part of the meat. I never thought in terms of it being glued. No, I just never have.
Well, let me hurt your feelings. Let me hurt your feelings a little bit more. Most fish and chips that are on the market that we get from the store, when we go out to dinner, we get fish and chips. Most of that fish is cod, but that cod is not fresh cod. It is processed cod. And that is glued together as well. Anytime you can shape something that does not look like nature, and you got to strip it, put it in the processor. Anybody who's cooked fish, once that fish fall apart, you can't put it back together. So if it's going to be put back together after it has fallen apart and been broken
and that
up,
cod is
then it has been glued.
Farm raised the cod, right? The cod, where they
yeah, but it's still processed.
Wow.
And it's processed. And what I'm saying about the Food and Drug Administration, they are, when people who are trying to get healthy, and they look at, there are so many drugs and chemicals that are banned in other countries that America still uses. America is just not coming to the point where we're getting rid of the red dye. You and I, we both like salmon. Yeah, but when you go to the market, you have to make sure that you're reading the salmon that's not dyed, because the farm-raised salmon doesn't have that dark red color. They have to dye it to food, but that red dye. So it is. You're eating a healthy fish because the salmon. This is ugly. Now I'm finish this up. They dye it. So now, even though you think you eat healthy, but because of the red dye.
Well, I knew that a lot of the red meats that you buy, that they dye it after it's been, out on the market, out in the shelves or whatever, and that once it starts to fade, they put some type of coloring on it to make it like a bright red, like it's really fresh. This is a scary conversation, man, because I'm seriously thinking about becoming a vegan. And then you got to watch who raised it. What is the food been sprayed with? Gee whiz.
Well, how about impoverished areas when they take food from the richer area of town take it off of their shelves and slowly move that food into the poor section of them. So,
Yeah.
like, you won't go into a richer area of town and you see brown, black meat
Wow.
out in the deli area,
This is
but
scary, man.
you will see it in the poor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, only thing they do is they wrap it to say when they got it. They ain't saying when the cat cut from the cow. They wrapping it based on when they got it. And if people don't read the labels, sometimes the stores are selling people stuff at the regular price, and that food is going to expire within 2 or 3 days. Even when you get your milk, and I'm not pushing milk, but when you go in there and you get your carton, you want to make sure that carton is supposed to at least last you 2 weeks. But the store will sell you milk that's going to be out of date tomorrow, and they don't drop the price down. So, but the last thing I'm gonna say, that's about the food thing. I don't know if you're aware that they have created this genetic salmon fish, right? And they have allowed the genetic fish to swim with the wild salmon, and now the genetic salmon are eating the real salmon.
And this is some scary stuff,
you
man.
can Google that.
Yeah.
Look, you
I
did think we live in a terrible time.
I've been thinking about losing some weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start losing a lot of weight because I think I'm gonna be looking seriously into this vegan diet, and then I'm gonna be researching where the vegetables and fruits were raised, and look into what's been sprayed on.
And I want you to know, Detroit.
You know what?
Detroit has some good gardens. And people can go to Black Garden. There's a website for Black gardeners, and they're showing people who are growing their own food, or they got acres of land, and they're growing organic food that you want to serve your family. So you see the collard greens, the cabbages, the peppers. So the thing about it is, and we may talk about this at another time, people have to be intentional about their eating, about their health. And as long as we are into this lackadaisical, I just want to push a button. I'm going to let somebody else do it for me. The more you allow somebody else to do it for you, the more jacked up I believe you're going to become.
Mercy. We live in, folks, we're living in perilous times. And like I said in the beginning, I like to play that Michigan song, replay of my touchdown and all of that. It pumps me up, help get me ready to do the show. But we are living in some very perilous times. It's just so much going on. It's really crazy. We're going to get ready to get off the air, but there's another piece that I'm honored to be a Michigan man, a Wolverine, and 3-time All-American at Michigan. I'm true blue. And I'm honored. I feel honored by Michigan because I've been away for a long, long time. And there's a new hype out, a new hype that has me at the top of it. And then they mentioned, some other players, but, I haven't played since the 70s. I'm dating myself at Michigan, and I have not been forgotten. So Michigan, the sports department, the athletic director, any and everybody that has something to do with putting this video that I'm about to play together, I just appreciate it. And I think we can let that run right about now. And after that, I'll close out.
Great scene as always here at the Big House. Sellout crowd of more than 107,000 on hand.
Center to the 20, down to the 15, down to 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Billy Taylor!
And before they can even snap the ball, a flag for a delay of game penalty.
Donovan Edwards sprinting. Touchdown, Michigan. Stroud in trouble. And Stroud is sacked again. McCord looks, fires, intercepted. And Michigan will win the game.
With it and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan.
Great scene as always here at the Big House.
That was my teammate and friend Jim Brandstetter on that replay calling the play, but it's been a long time since I played at Michigan, and that just shows how wonderful it is to be a Michigan man. and a student athlete at the University of Michigan. And I'm up in Ann Arbor quite often, and I love my Michigan. But as you see, the show is not very little football and sports. We talking about things that really matter pertaining to your life and existence, and what's going on. And we live in perilous times. And I'm about to get out of here, but I just want to thank you all for listening, and share the information about my podcast on your Facebook and to your friends. And I want people to listen in and join us in conversation, talking about things that matter during these perilous times. Take care. God bless. And be kind to everybody. And remember, when life knocks you down, get back up. I'm Dr. Billy Taylor, and I'm out of here. Thank you.